city drive-through tour that we're going to be doing now. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't hear myself. All right. I hope it's not too loud. It's fine, eh?
That's
All right. Okay. The briefing for this. We're going to go now out and we're going to go past Fort Tracker Monument, down Jan Smuts Avenue, and then we're going to go down Kosimampuru and via Jeff Masimula. Then we're going to go down Paul Kruger to the Union and then Church Square. And on Church Square, we're going to have a stop for about 15 minutes where we're going to visit the Palace of Justice. We're going to go into the cell and also see the courtroom where the trial took place. I arranged with the security to let us in. I'll call him as we approach the city. And then we're also going to go to Union Buildings. And from Union Buildings to Government Lane, then Barrington Suburb, and then we're going to see Masambandlovu, and that will be the end of our tour, and we'll turn back there and come back here where everyone can pick up their vehicles. Right now we're just going to talk to the security just so they can allow us back inside when we come back to pick up the vehicles.
I forgot my suit in the car.
Yeah. In my car. Okay, let me see if they want. Sorry. Hello.
Maybe they will just remember.
Hello. We're going to come back, ne? We left some cars inside.
Where are you here?
Eh?
Where are you here?
We were at the monument, Long March to Freedom.
Okay.
But so we're going to come back. It's just so that you don't give us hassles when we come back, so that we just come in because we've already paid.
You paid already?
Yes.
You have a slip?
My slip's in my car.
We leave the cars.
They left the slips in their car.
Can we show you when we come back out?
Yeah, because when you come back, how many are you? Let me see.
I've got a car there.
Yeah, let me explain to that lady.
All right. Sure.
How long is the drive-through tour?
45 minutes to an hour. It shouldn't be longer than that.
Okay.
It can't be longer than that. I don't think I can talk that long.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I've taken out my slip now. Are these allowed outside, these peacocks? So now we're going to go straight now. I'm just going to give you a bit of background about Pretoria as we are driving towards our different sites. The earliest evidence of Iron Age inhabitants date back to about 800 years ago. Sites that contain the evidence include Groenkloof Nature Reserve, that is pointing to the Western Sotho people, and a cave in the Magaliesburg east of Wonderboom Port. Later, fragments of Nguni migrated westwards across the Drakensberg and made their home along the banks of the Apis River. Oral tradition indicates that Chief Musi lived in the area around 3 to 4 centuries ago, and that the Apis River was named after one of his sons, Twan. And now his son, the city has also been named after this son. The Sotho called the newcomers Matebele, meaning refugees. This name later changed. Pardon? Yes. Okay. Yes, we're going straight. This name later changed and became Bebele. And this is the name that they're still known as even today. And these people reside around the outskirts of Pretoria. Their descendants reside around the outskirts of Pretoria, In 1824, another group of settlers arrived in the Alpes River. Mzelekazi, remember during the Long March to Freedom tour, I told you that we're going to talk about Mzelekazi and his Kumalo people that came to settle in Pretoria during this tour as well. Mzelekazi, who had fled Shaka's authority, he defied Shaka's authority by refusing to hand over a head of cattle which he had captured in a raid, together with a group of about 300 loyal Kumalo. Sorry, I'm just going to increase the volume a bit because the car's outside and I want the camera to capture it, to get the sound. And we cannot drive with our windows closed because it's hot. The camera to get the sound. Okay, we'll still continue this way now. And then if you look on the right, you can see just a glimpse of the four-tracker monument, but then we'll see it more clearly as we continue along the route. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about it as we continue along the route. But then on my right-hand side, this whole area is part of the Groenland Nature Reserve, which was turned into a reserve by Paul Kruger, who wanted to preserve one species of antelope which is found mainly in the reserve. I'm going to continue with the background about Pretoria as we continue on our route. The new arrivals were led by Mzelekazi, and they were called Matebele. One of Mzelekazi's largest royal residents seems to have been the Kongwini, which was situated at the foot of the Bonaboni in the modern municipality of Tshwane. Mzelekazi was defeated at the Battle of Bokop in 1836, and also in Maseka in 1837, and Gabeni, whereafter he fled to present-day Zimbabwe and established Bulawayo. If you look on my right, you will see the four-tracker monument. This monument is one of it's a national heritage. Yes, we're still going straight. We'll turn on the next robot. This is, on the next robot you're going to turn on. This is it is a national heritage monument site, and it was built to commemorate the four trackers, the bulls as they trekked from the Cape to the Transvaal, along the Transvaal, and ended up here in Pretoria at some point. Now, Pretoria, is the sound still okay, ladies and gentlemen? Is it not too loud? Okay. Okay, I was still talking about Mzelekazi. Mzelekazi was defeated at the Battle of Bokop in 1836. And after 1840, the white people started settling in the area. Two brothers, Hart and Lucas Broncos, were the first to officially receive funds. They were originally part of Piet Rettief's party, and they left for the high hills after their leader was killed by the army. And this is how these brothers ended up in Pretoria. In 1841, the farms Kruger and Elizabeth were registered in their names. Kruger included Fontaine Down as well as the hills, where the Sandstop and Klapperkop also were found. If you look straight ahead, ladies and gentlemen, on my right as well, you will see UNISA. UNISA is the largest university students who could not attend universities for different reasons. Many of the present ANC government studied through UNISA while imprisoned on Robben Island. One of the people that studied through the university is Nelson Mandela, who completed his law degree during his sentence at Robben Island. And if we look straight ahead, we are on Kosimampulu now, Kosimampulu Street, and on my left you will see Pretoria Central Prison. It is one of the largest prisons in South Africa. It was the location of death row in South Africa during the apartheid system. One of the youngest black activists was hung here. His name is Solomon Mahlangu. Solomon Mahlangu was born in Mamelodi, and a square was named in his honor. Inside the prison, there is a correctional service museum. This museum is the only one of its kind in South Africa. It portrays the development of the penal system in the country and houses a fascinating collection of illegally made items confiscated from prisoners within the prison. It also shows some of his prisoners indulged in while incarcerated. There is also a reconstructed cell similar to the one on Robben Island where the President Nelson Mandela was kept. I will continue with the background of Pretoria as we're driving along to the next site. The formation of the capital of the late Afrikaanse Republic and Civil War. In 1853, Martinus Wessels Pretorius, son of Andries Pretorius, purchased farms on Eladispoort and Gooduspoort. His purpose was to unite the different factions of the Transvaal republics. The Tsar by creating a central capital. And Pretoria was established in 1855. And in 1857, N.W. Pretorius was elected the first president of the Tsar. In 1860, Pretoria was recognized as the capital of the Tsar and two Boer republics. This caused unhappiness among some of the Transvaalers. I hear an echo. Are you sure you guys are okay with the sound? Okay. And this caused unhappiness with some of the Transvaalers, and it led to a civil war which only claimed a few lives. Pretorius was reinstated as president of the Tsar. And after that, we have another period in the history of Pretoria, where the annexation of Pretoria and the two Anglo-Boer wars took place. In 1877, Sir Theophilus Shetstone rode into Pretoria with his men without encountering any resistance, and he annexed the Transvaal Republic. After the Jameson raid in 1855, an effort of Cecil John Rhodes to overthrow Klapperkop, we're going to turn left, ne?
Okay.
Yeah, on Paul Kruger. An effort of Cecil John Rhodes to overthrow the Transvaal government. The four fortresses were erected around the city, namely Klapperkop, Skanskop, Daspoort, and Wonderboomspoort. In 1899, the Tsar handed an ultimatum to the British government in Pretoria, and it was rejected, and this heralded the beginning of the Second Anglo-Boer War. Most of the officers were, soon after the outbreak of the war, British prisoners of war were sent to Pretoria. Most of the officers were kept at the Stadsmodel School. Pardon?
girls' school somewhere here?
No, it's on Lillian Ngoyi and Nanasita, yes. And we're not going to pass through there today because the route changed quite a bit. Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Paul Kruger Street. And if you look just here on my left-hand side, you will see that we've got the City Hall. The City Hall with its dome clock tower right there on top. You can everybody see it? Yeah. And then we've got the different statuettes. Just have a look at the statuettes as we're driving past because we were not going to stop because we pressed for time. The City Hall with its dome clock tower was inaugurated in 1935. The carillon of 32 cylindrical bells was donated by George Hayes. Oh my goodness, we missed another monument which was on my left, the museum.
I did catch it on the camera.
You caught it on the camera. Thank you so much, Susie. I feel like we're rushing through this now because of time. But anyway, I'm just going to tell you about the two sites that we passed. The City Hall, the organ which is inside the hall, is the largest in the country and has more than 16,000 pipes and 146 stops. Among the features in the garden are the statue of the president of the Tsar, M.W. Pretorius. I hope you all caught the statue as we were driving past, who was also the founder of the town of Pretoria. The equestrian statue of Andries Pretoria is also on the gardens in the City Hall, and a bronze figure of Chief Tshwane is standing almost 6 meters high from the base top and was unveiled in 2006. It stands in front of the City Hall, and this statue is highly controversial as the chief is the inspiration for the naming of the metropole of Tshwane and possibly changing of the name Pretoria to Tshwane. And then I'm just going to go through the National Museum of History. It is located opposite the City Hall and it was established in 1892. It was previously known as the Transvaal Museum. Thank God for this robot. It was previously known as the Transvaal Museum, and it falls under the Detong Museum of South Africa, an amalgamation of 8 national museums, 7 in Tshwane and 1 in Joburg. It is easily identifiable by the fin whale skeleton and the modeled one of the dinosaur in front of the building. And now we are going to Church Square. No, before we go to Church Square, there's just going to be a slight change in the route. Sorry, I'd forgotten about Kruger House when I showed you the route earlier on. We're going to go to Kruger House. You're going to go straight, and then you're going to turn not on Bosman, but on Hosiman Burek, and then you're going to go down to Kruger House. You're still going to turn right.
Kruger House is on this road.
It's on Church.
What are we on now?
We are on Pretoria Street. Yes. But now we're going to go down to Kruger House. So you keep on driving straight and then you're going to turn across. And then I'm going to continue with the historical background of Pretoria as we drive into Kruger House. Buildings are designed.
Yeah, I didn't know, but when I did my tour. So there's so many different eras in architecture around Pretoria. And some of the buildings that are just sort of government buildings are amazing architectural features. I mean, you could do a whole architectural tour of Pretoria.
because I noticed that there are a lot of the architecture. It's quite interesting, and then here you
And
can
I think because of the different time,
and then
there's
it's
a lot of
possible
so the Baker and Victorian, and then and then there's a lot
you're
of
turning
there's
left
also
and then
a lot of
to your right.
Art Deco buildings in Victoria.
Yes. Yes.
Depending on the different times, some of them are fascinating.
Okay, and then now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kruger House, which is right here on my left. Kruger House is now known as the Kruger Museum, and it is the home of the former South African Republic President Paul Kruger. We can keep driving, but not too fast, just, yeah. And tributes were presented to the president by the Blues during the Anglo-Boer War. If you look, this bus is blocking, but then on the entrance there are two lions, and those lions were given to him by, those lions were given to him by Cecil John.
Oh, no.
Barney Bernardo.
Barney Barnett, yeah, sorry.
Guys! Okay, by Barney Banato as a thank you gift for him having saved his son. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. And then milk was used to build the house instead of water, because at that time the cement, the quality of the cement was very low, and Paul Kruger believed that by using milk the structure would be much stronger, and it's still standing today. And I went in this other day and I realized that there were no cracks in the house, so he was right. Milk was quite strong, was a good substitute to use for water to make the structure stronger. Paul Kruger lived there until the 29th of May in 1900, when he and his government left Pretoria. But then when Paul Kruger left, he didn't live with his wife. His wife still stayed in the house until she passed on. And when the it was bought by the South African government in 1925. And they fully restored it, and now it was handed to the Transvaal Museum in 1933 and proclaimed a national monument in 1936. Okay, I'm just going to call this guy so we can have access into the Palace of Justice. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm just... Okay,
yeah. Okay, she's got this and the goat.
and then we're just gonna park here anyway, and then we're going to walk down. We're gonna park here, and then we're going to walk down, and then we're going to go into the Palace of Justice, and we're going to have a view of the cell and the court where the Rivonia trial was held. Let me just get hold of this guy who will give us access.
Can I turn this off?
Yes, you can turn it off. Just pause. No, I don't know how to pause this. Maybe we can just leave it. It's charging, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. But are you guys following? No, Mr. Novella, you can't do this. And it's so hard for us to be sitting here like this and he's not answering his phone.
Take a walk down and see him if he's not there. That's okay.
Yeah, we can. But then he said I should call him when I get here. But anyway, we can go down there and see and check if he's not there. Are you going to stay? Alright, let's just go down. And then hopefully they'll give us access into the building. Just this guy. Okay, let's go, guys. I'm not taking the speaker. I'm just gonna talk and then bring the camera. Yeah. We're going to need it inside. Your phone. Thanks very much. Yeah, he's staying.
Your phone?
Sorry? Let me just...
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, we're going to...
Oh, body out of here. My keys here, it's okay. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Check it, bravo, I am picking it. Sabay sa mga pa.
Ay da?
Check it nga na picking it.
Get in, bro.
Check it.
Yeah.
Ano pala?
I think a working one would be very interesting.
I kept on the two little
Close, yeah.
and here, Joburg, they're not doing Joburg.
But because it's so broad, you can do bits of Joburg.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure.
But if you go
So now we are sticking to
even
the
if you just do
You look tired. Is it the sun?
I
that
just got some more like
near the
I
market,
was a little bit dry.
near the market square, it's because of section.
Yeah.
The workers' museum, and there's the market theatre, and there's a whole lot of stuff.
St. Mark's Square coming all the way here to these monuments here. You have to plan your route and then you calculate how many kilometers. So at least when you prepare your guests, you tell them, okay, it's going to cover 3 kilometers.
I think
you walk your time, maybe it can be an hour and a half. Then
I think 5 kilometers is about the most.
yeah, it's max for everybody. Then it is people that can...
You did the center one, yeah?
Sorry?
Did you do the center one? No.
The Santana, no, I was just there.
If I could have your attention again, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe you can go on now.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
No,
Because as we're talking, the car is moving and I'm passing. I'm passing the sides. Okay.
Just 1 minute.
All right.
Just turn the street and it's not going.
Oh. Okay.
Are we back on?
What's up?
Yeah.
All right. But now I can't find my Okay, let's just leave it because now I'm getting confused because of what I'm seeing now. Okay, as we're driving through, if you look on the left, you'll see a building that has, it's got very unique architecture. It's called the Old Synagogue. We're not going to see it clearly because it is a little bit deep into the street. This is Paul Kruger Street. We're back on Paul Kruger again. Just down there, you'll see it looks like a Muslim building. It's the old synagogue, and it is an old Jewish synagogue, and it's situated right here in the CBD, and it plays part in the history of Pretoria. It is the first synagogue that was erected in Pretoria, but its function as a synagogue changed with the country's political changes. What's going on up here?
We're going to make a turn.
No. Oh, we're not going to be part of what's going on. Okay. All right. Sorry. It is the first synagogue that was erected in Pretoria, but its function as a synagogue changed with the country's political changes. It was converted to the High Court where numerous high-profile hearings and court cases involving, amongst others, Nelson Mandela and Steve Biko took place. And it's just sad that they don't allow anyone into the synagogue. I went the other day and I realized that it's like a building that's rotting, and I don't understand why they can't open it up to the public and let us go in. Even if they charge us to go in, they should just open it up. But anyway, they've got their reasons. And right now we are proceeding. We're still continuing with our tour. We're going up Andre Street, which is now known as Thabo Sehume due to the name changes. And as we go along, I will show you when we approach it, Burgers Park. It is one of the oldest parks in Pretoria, and it is the site that used to be a camping area for the four trekkers before the city was established in 1874. Thomas Francois Burgers, president of the ZAR, selected the land. Money for the development became available with the old gold rush in the 1860s. And the final layout was done by George Hayes, the first owner of Melrose House, in collaboration with the botanist James Hunter. The project was completed in 1882. A statue of President Burgers is erected in the park, and funds were made available from the estate of Miss Mary Adeline Jurison, one of the president's daughters, in 1953. It was completed by the Lithuanian artist. Oh, this place, man. This traffic jam. Anyway, the Scottish Monument is located on the western side of the park, and it was erected to commemorate those who died in the World War. It is appropriate as President Burger's wife was also Scottish. This park was one of the first botanical parks to be built in Pretoria. And earlier on I mentioned funds. That's what the funds were used for, to turn the park, to make the first botanical park in Pretoria. And then as we do that, as we're approaching Burgers Park, which I will show you when we get to it, I am going to talk a little bit about Pretoria's economy. Pretoria is one of the largest contributors to the South African economy and the economy of Gauteng. It contributes about 8.5% of the GDP, of the country's GDP, after Cape Town and Johannesburg. More history about Pretoria. In 1902, the first town council was elected, and on the 31st of May in 1910, the Union of South Africa was established, with Pretoria as the capital. In the same year, the construction of the Union buildings commenced. It was completed in 1913. The Union buildings was to witness many significant events, and to name a few of these events are the following. In 1915, a group of Afrikaner women marched to the Union buildings to protest. Okay, On my left, this is Beggars Park, the park that I told you about, the first botanical park to be built in Pretoria. And then as we proceed, we're going to turn left at the robots. Okay, as we have stopped, I am going to continue with what I was saying about the history of Pretoria. I was talking about the Union buildings witnessing some significant events. In 1915, a group of Afrikaner women marched to the Union buildings to protest against the capture of the men that participated at the rebellion in that year. Amongst them was General Christian's event. Okay, I'll get back to that later. But then as we turn on the street, if you look on my right, there is a wall, a cream camo wall here. And right inside this wall is Melrose House. This is where the Treaty of Vereeniging was signed. And quite interestingly, you can visit this house at any time because there is no entry fee to get into this house unless they just changed recently. The entrance is free. You just get in and you approach, you go to the office and you ask them if you can explore the house and they'll let you in when they're open. There are days when the house is not open. It's not open every day. As I said, this is where the Treaty of Vereeniging was signed. And it was built in 1886 by George Tace Hayes, who was the owner of the Hayes Express Salon coach service. It was named after the famous Melrose Abbey in Scotland. In the 1890s, the home was extensively enlarged during the war, and it was used by the British as the imperial headquarters in South Africa. It was turned into a residence for Lord Roberts, Commander-in-Chief of the British forces. After major repairs were done on the house and restoration it was opened as a period museum in 1971. Significant features are the Cape Dutch gables, billiard room conservatory. The Victorian and Edwardian furniture and fittings were mostly imported from England. The table on which the peace treaty was signed, as well as the other furnishings in the dining room, has remained virtually intact since 1902. The table bears a silver plate with facsimiles of the delegates' signatures. Now we are on Nelson Mandela Drive and we're going to turn on Church Street and we're going to go to Lion Bridge. I will tell you a little bit more about Lion Bridge as we get to it. But right now I am going to continue giving you a bit of history about Pretoria. And we were talking about the Stadsmodel School. I hope we can see it from here. It is on this road on my left, but we won't be able to see it. Yeah, but it's just down this road up, going up. We get the Stadsmodel School, where some of the prisoners were kept. Yes, I was still giving you a bit of background on Pretoria and the significant events that the Union buildings witnessed. In 1956, 20,000 women participated in a protest against the use of passports. Among them were Sophie Williams, Lillian Ngoyi, Helen Joseph, and Rahima Musa. And in 1958, the state funeral of Premier Straydon, the most famous. In 1958, the state funeral of Premier Straydon, and And the most famous visitors to the Union of South Africa was King George IV and his wife Elizabeth and their daughters. Okay. Now we're at the Lion Bridge. These are the, have a look on both sides. We see the lions on the bridge. And this bridge is the oldest existing bridge across the Upper River. We can continue. This is the oldest existing bridge across the Upper River until the end of the 1880s. There was no bridge across the Upper River and it was difficult to cross after thunderstorms. Lion Drift was named after 4 lions had killed a number of cattle in the vicinity. Due to heavy traffic, it was often in a bad state and a small steel bridge was erected in 1887, known as Arcadia Bridge. As the bridge could not withstand the floods, a new bridge was finally completed in 1894. Okay, now we're going to head to the Union buildings, and let me give you a little bit of background about the Union building. As you can see, we are right in the city hub of Pretoria, and you can hear with the hooting of the taxis. And it just bears witness to the life. The life and the street bars that exist in Gauteng and Pretoria. Okay, now we're headed towards Union Buildings. Union Buildings symbolizes the soul and essence of the state, and it is a symbol of authority. It is built on Menke's Skop that is situated on the eastern boundary of Elandisfontein, one of the 2 farms on which Pretoria was established. We spoke about the 2 farms earlier on. Herbert Baker, not Sir, was appointed as architect of the buildings. The cornerstone was laid in November 1910 with the help of 1,265 workers. The building was completed in 1913. I already mentioned that earlier. It was built almost entirely of local stone. Mountain stone quarried on the site, used for the terraces and retaining walls in the grounds. And then we've got some elements and symbolism on the gardens of the buildings. As we go on the square, we're going to stop there for about 10 to 15 minutes to give you a chance to explore the gardens and to see these elements and their symbolism. I'm going to tell you about the elements that are on the gardens, on the Union Buildings gardens. We'll see that there are the 2 clocks, which were the British clock makers, and they were built by the Smith and Company of London, and they were awarded the contract, and the clocks were shipped to South Africa in 1915. The Western Tower has the Westminster chimes, and the SABC prefaced its radio broadcast with the clock chimes since 1954. Initially, it was relayed live to the pranksters that made their way up to the tower, activating the chimes manually at the wrong times and shouting advertisement for time for events such as for university rags, along with the chimes being broadcast. Okay, now we're entering into the Union Buildings. Oh, I see that is it a party? Because I see a car decorated with ribbons. Okay, back to my tour. The identical 2 wings of the office blocks represent luggages at the time. of Afrikaans and English people that were coming into the city. We're going to find a place somewhere to park, right? No, let's not park too far. Drive a little bit. I think there is something happening here because it's so cool. The waiting. Oh, they're coming to take pictures. But anyway, it's understandable because the gardens are quite beautiful. We're going to stop here for 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're going to meet right here after 15 minutes. Are we going to take that long? We can agree. Okay. It's enough, ne? Okay, we'll meet right here after 15 minutes. I didn't tell you about the things that I wanted to tell you about. Okay. Down there are two hats with domes shaped in the form of military tin hats. They are linked by a wall of remembrance. It commemorates the Pretorians who died during the 2 World Wars and the Korean War. And then we also have the Delville Wood War Memorial. It took me some time to find this thing because I was looking for something, But anyway, it was built as a tribute to South African troops killed in the First World War. On the 14th of July 1916, the Scots were tasked to take Longeville village adjacent to Delville Wood. In both these places, there were a considerable German presence. The Scots failed to take the village completely, and the South African infantry was ordered to reinforce the Scots and to take and then hold Delville Wood at all costs. Okay, the statue of Castor and Pollux, heavenly brothers of Greek mythology, clapping hands over the fiery horse. That's right there over here. You can see it. That's the Delville Wood War Memorial. And then okay, I think that's it. And then down there we get the police memorial as well. And then down there as well there is a statue of Nelson Mandela. It's standing right there in front. We can go there and you can take pictures. And then right ahead in front of me, is it in front of me? Yes.
Yeah.
There is the bathroom. I think it's the male bathrooms. And then behind me it's the female toilets. And this will be our bathroom stop as well. We're almost at the end of our tour. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's meet again in 15 minutes.
Thank you. That Mandela statue, it's very interesting because I came on a tour that was given by a German tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very anti the statue because they say it's too tall.
Yes,
and if you look from the gardens, it blocks out the whole view of the Union building. So it's a very controversial statue, that statue.
Okay.
Some people think it's magnificent and fantastic, and other people say that because of the height of it, if you're standing in the garden, it blocks out your view of everything because it's too tall.
Oh, that's interesting. So we're not getting off.
Something wrong with proportion.
Yes.
So we're fine, eh?
Yes.
So we can proceed.
We can go.
Okay.
Save time.
Yes, okay, let's
So
go.
we finished our 15 minutes very quickly.
Yes, thank you so much. You're such a good group.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna continue. Mm-hmm.
Something new, eh?
Yeah, it is new. I do know that.
Yeah, it is quite new. I also had the date somewhere here, but now I'm gonna be flipping through the pages. I'll tell you after. If I don't tell you today, I'll send it to you via Facebook.
Because they just want to all those old pictures of different buildings.
No, it's a
It's quite new.
Because I saw it this time, February 14th.
2013,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue now. And then the Union buildings today, more than 80 years on, the Union buildings were the site of South Africa's first democratically elected President Nelson Mandela. He was inaugurated here in 1994. Am I back on? Okay. He was inaugurated here in 1994. And then the second democratically elected president was also inaugurated here, who was Thabo Mbeki. At present, the Union building only serves as offices for the president, the deputy president, and part of the Department of Foreign Affairs. Guests are not allowed inside the buildings, but they are welcome to join the surrounding sites and the beautiful sprawling gardens. Can someone please tell me why they wouldn't allow people inside? Does it compromise the government in some way or what?
Administrative capital of the state, so
it's risky to allow someone
just like with the US embassy, you're allowed to take a picture, not to go in. Picture, give you and let something picture.
Yeah, seriously.
Once the guest was arrested, we're taking a picture of the
Yeah. Sure, that's hectic.
The worst thing, he was an American, and he took it to the court that day he was arrested, and then he said,
wow, that is really, really interesting. No, I asked the question, but thank you so much. That's very helpful, because I always wondered.
It's just like the office of the president.
Okay,
I think
we're going to turn on
very
this.
strict security to go in there, so we check. Otherwise, they won't allow the parking outside.
And now we are turning on to Barrington suburb. If it was possible, we would all live in places like this. But anyway, it is not possible. This is the official residence of the state president and deputy president and high-ranking ministers. All their homes are located inside the suburb. It has a 9-hole presidential golf course and can be viewed on the northern side of Church Street. Down the road. I think we'll go to Church Street when we're done. That's how we're going to exit Barrington. That's how we're going to exit Eastern Street. The estate is 107 hectares and 264 acres. 1.7 kilometers. The anti-crime motion detected fence is 8.1 kilometers, and it was erected in 2007. That's why I said if we all get our way, we could live in places like this. And if you could just look down, ladies and gentlemen, this is such a nice view. And I'm guessing, and yes, there is a function going on down there. I believe that the people who live up here, like close to the fence, can actually get this view. So it's like you're living in one of those, one of those very expensive suburbs. But I found it quite interesting that people are not. Are you guys with me? Are you with me, ladies and gentlemen? You're having your own. Oh, is it working? Did I get it? Oh, okay. I don't want to have to redo this because of the camera. Okay. Very much fun. All right. On this one, people are not allowed to stop and take pictures. They can go down. There isn't really much to see. It's just, let's go. People aren't allowed to stop and take pictures. But if you are a picture person like myself, you would love to take pictures, yeah. But we're not allowed to. Due to the fact that they say that it will compromise security, because this is from here you can see the house of the president. But we're going to see it clearly as we reach the end of this road on Tom Jenkins. Okay, we're going to turn just way down so you can turn here. Sure, how nice.
Do you have an idea which fence was they talking about? Which was erected?
It's
The black
this
one.
one.
The black one.
It's the black one, yes, because it says that it's a motion detector fence. That looks very sophisticated. Okay, just stop a bit. If you look up there on my left, just there, you will see Mahlambandoku. This is the official residence of the state president.
The white one.
Yes, the
white
white
with the
building
red roof
over
at the
there.
top
Yes, yes.
The Cape Dutch.
Yes, the Cape Dutch
Dutch.
building, yes.
They're not the state guest house.
No, it was a guest house. It is also, let me see.
Mention the state guest house. But some dogs will be wide.
All of them are
It
white.
is white.
They are white.
They're
The
all
red
white.
All of them are
With the red roof, yes. It's in the Cape.
So that's
one is for
Masamba.
guests, the
Yeah.
other is
Yes.
So they're all at the top there.
They're two there. They're
Yes.
two buildings up there.
But then we all saw the building, ne?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Then we can go back up. And this is the official residence of the state president, Mahlambandoku. And it's a Shangan word meaning the new dawn. When translated into English, Mahlambandoku literally means he who washes the linen. I wondered why they gave it this name, because me being Shangan, I wondered who would actually want to wash it. But anyway, figuratively it means the dawn or new beginning. Previously called the Baptist, it was changed to the current name in 1995. The architect was Herod Mube, and it was completed in 1940. As we said before, it is a Cape lifestyle. I was going to talk about the Oliver Tambo building, but it seems to be already said. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of my city grand patrol. Today you don't get a lot of information because we are all and how much we don't know that we did. And Pretoria has a lot of history attached to it. And when I did the research into the tour, I realized that it is rich with history. And there is so much that you can learn about the country from Pretoria and its buildings. Just the buildings alone tell a story before we go into anything else, the monuments and sites. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it and it was informative.
Thank you very much about that.
Yeah,
And your timing was great because the camera just gave up now.
yes. And I think I'll use that as an excuse to Maria. That Maria, the battery was running low. So I couldn't give him enough. I couldn't give too much detail, Maria.
But you gave a lot of detail.
Serious.
You're writing details.
Yeah. I think I also did the same thing. I did exactly the same thing. I gave much too much details. And I think for us, the learning thing is to work out how much information to give. Are you going back down, straight down this way? Or are you going into town?
No, we're going back to Fountains to pick up the cars.
One question. This
And
is it was this branch? It's something about Frontier. What's the name of this?
Yeah, it's the suburb.
It's called Frontier.
Yes. I
So,
said Barrington suburb. It's Frontier.
And
In English, my brother.
predominantly has the highest, well, Pretoria generally, but this thing generally has the highest number of foreign diplomats in the world, other than
Second
Washington.
after
to Washington.
Yeah.
Washington
I mean Frontier and all.
Second of?
the whole of Pretoria,
Yeah, I know
but
the
Frontier
After
in
Washington.
particular.
Oh, okay. Second of Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is interesting. We're still having jacaranda trees all the way down. You see that on both sides?
Yeah.
I was supposed to talk about that on Government
Jacaranda
Lane.
City, yeah. And do you know that it was also called the Schnorr?
Still the tower.
Oh,
Do you know that it was also called the Schnorr City? I read that on the Facebook.
What is it?
Schnorr.
Schnorr.
Schnorr is a beard. Because of all the Afrikaner guys that used to wear
Oh, this is not going to be on your face.
I was just asking when I was going to
easy to go to fountains to go
finish.
straight.
I just wanted to know.
No, it didn't continue.
I don't know what
You know,
I'm
the Pretoria City is called Rose City.
I have to worry because I'm paying. I'm paying for your.
How is
and I
the
don't think it will be the next one.
You're not listening, baby. You're not listening.
I think it was said around 12 what?
So I can't. Thank you so much. You're a very good bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How do we stop this one now?
Okay?
How do we stop this?
Unplug it.
You can just
That's one way. Keep recording.